Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi, I'm Dan.
And today we're going to talk about eating problems at Christmas.
Am I? I don't know yet.
Any time of year can be difficult when you've got eating problems, but around Christmas it can be especially difficult. So how do you guys think Christmas can make eating problems feel a little bit more difficult?
So I had bulimia for 5 years. It started when I was 16 and lasted until I was 21. And by the nature of bulimia, obviously, there is a lot of binge eating, and then afterwards you're making yourself sick. So to be honest, every day was almost like an overindulgence for me. But around Christmas, you've got the extra pressures of you're with your family, everyone's watching you. It feels like that time of year, everything's out of control because it's all about indulgence and you're surrounded by other people who want to indulge as well. When you're suffering from an eating disorder, there's no celebration around food. So it does make it very difficult having that in your face every day.
Well, I suffered with bulimia since I was 13 all the way up to now when being 20. One of the most important things to remember is that when people do comment on how you look, whether it's like a relative or friend, they're not being invasive or judgmental. It's normally just them trying to look out for you or be in some sort of caring way. And I think once you get into the mindset that it's not an attack, that day can be a lot easier for you because then you're not focused on how other people would see you perhaps.
Yeah, and it actually ties quite nicely to the way I started my recovery journey. And it was by just getting a better knowledge of food and being more involved in the cooking process. So I always recommend that around Christmas time, you go and speak to the chef. And I say chef because I now cook Christmas dinner. So I refer to myself as a chef in the kitchen. But it's understanding what goes into that food and having more control about what goes on the plate. And I think once you know what's in the food and you're understanding more about the food and how healthy it can be, it changes your mindset a little bit.
Christmas is a very vulnerable time for a lot of people. And I think at that time when it's full of love and festivities, it could be a lot easier to come, to terms with the fact that you need to tell someone that you're suffering, and you can say it to someone that you trust, like, look, I suffer with a food issue and I need help and today's a big struggle for me, and they'll probably be more than likely to help you or cater to your individual needs.
If you maybe felt like there wasn't somebody in your family that you could talk to about what you were going through, is there anyone else that you'd maybe turn to?
You don't always have to know the answers, then you don't have to solve it on your own. There is people that are out there that can help you and advise you, and people who are willing to be a friend to you, who have been through the circumstances, who know what it's like, and are there who you can reach out to and get that support from. But if I'd known back then what I know now about all the charities that are out there that can help you, all the helplines, all the free advice, it would have been a lot of different journey for me. And I just think that people should be more aware that there is confidential help out there. It's free and it's very supportive as well.
So on the other side of things, it can also be really difficult if you know somebody and care about them and they're going through eating problems at Christmas or any time. What advice would you give people in that situation?
Trying not to make it so revolved around food. So though you might think it's useful by commenting on their weight and being like, oh my God, you look so good and stuff, try commenting on their personality instead. So if you switch it out and you're like, you know what, you're a really amazing person, I really value you and stuff like that, they're more than likely to feel a lot better about themselves. It will take time, but it just takes that edge off.
The first thing you ask someone is, oh, you're looking great, or you've lost weight. And it's just so unnecessary when everyone's got such interesting things happening in their lives. And that's the way we should be moving forward. It's just genuine human conversation that involves around the people, who they are, not what they look like.
For somebody who does want to start their conversation with their friend because they're worried about them having an eating problem, what would you say is a good way to sort of start that conversation?
I think it's important to be curious but not invasive. So if you're asking open-ended questions and asking what a normal day would look like to them and letting them just get it all out there instead of being judgmental, because I know it's hard not to, especially when you're worried about someone and you care about someone so much. It's important that both parties are heard in that situation in order for them to move forward and talk to you about their recovery.
There's not really any quick fix for an eating problem, but how would you sort of describe the journey of getting better and sort of dealing with it?
I mean, it is such a long journey, and I had so many days where I would just be shaking myself saying, what's wrong with you? Why are you getting there? Keep going, there must be a way out. And it's just the path that you go on, and it will take a lot of time, but there is certain things you can do to help you along the way, and everyone's journey is different, everyone's recovery is different, and the things you can do to help yourself are different. And for me, I had to go back to the root of my problem, which always came down to confidence and confidence as a person and who I am. And I just had to embrace that and just find ways to be super confident. So I taught myself a really, really weird trick, but I always call it my little toe trick. I struggled so much with confidence. So what I do is I just imagine my little toe and I put all my confidence into it as possible. And you know, I'll walk down the street saying, "You've got the best little toe ever." And I'll imagine just strutting down the street with my great little toe. But that confidence spreads across your body, and it's just something so simple and so small that gives you the ability to be super confident.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, even if it's going to be a long process, you can try to instill a bit of positive thinking to sort of keep yourself going.
And actually it's funny because my most favourite thing I learned for Christmas, and the best advice I ever got from anyone who was professional, is after a Christmas dinner, if you are struggling or you felt like you've ate too much, go and play a board game. And I love that because I love Scrabble. So now every Christmas dinner, I go out with my family and bring out a Scrabble board and it's time.
So if you felt that you wanted to go and speak to a doctor about what you're going through and get some help in that way, how would you suggest is a good way of sort of starting that?
I think it's important to remember when you book the appointment, you don't have to say what it's for over the phone. And I think that puts a lot of people off. At the end of that appointment, that is when your journey to recovery starts. And it's a scary idea, and not many people can get to that mindset of just going there and being open and honest about it. But it's about sitting down and being like, look, I need help. I'm struggling. I'm scaring people around me. I'm scaring myself. I think I'm in control, but I'm not really in control. And the doctor will find the right support system for you, whether that is CAMS or a charity or just regular therapy sessions or check-ins with them or a nutritionist. Like, there are so many alternatives and options out there, and it just starts with you being honest, in all honesty.
But I would say that if you feel that going to a doctor isn't for you or it is a difficult step forward, then just start by picking up the phone to a helpline of some sort, Childline, anorexia and bulimia care, and they will help you and they'll guide you.
If you could give somebody one piece of advice, maybe something they haven't thought of that could help them to get through Christmas, what would it be?
Don't isolate yourself at all. Like, I would find it easier to run off into my bedroom and eat. And that's all well and good because I can't eat in front of people. But after that, I would go back downstairs and I would do something with my family, whether I was in a bad mood or not. Just being surrounded by people keeps you in that safe place. And it's like with anything, you don't have to tell them what's wrong. You don't have to tell them what you're thinking in your head. But just being with them is stopping you from doing what you're doing to yourself.
For me, being outdoors and being with my family is the most natural space for me. So I always feel better in that. And it means I can go back in afterwards and really enjoy my cheese board, which I've always wanted to enjoy.
And it is worth as well, like, you can switch up the chocolate for fruit and stuff like that, so you can still be doing the indulging as you know, as Christmas would want you to do, but with an orange or some strawberries. It doesn't have to be all chocolate and sweet treats and Pringles. It can be everything else.
So thank you guys so much for coming.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.
And Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.